Hi, I'm John, and today we have two models from Atlas to take a look at, so let's head over to the workbench. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. These are N-scale coil steel cars from Atlas. And you'll notice that one has the cover and the other one does not. The uncovered one goes for $32.95, and the covered one goes for $38.95. They also make these in an undecorated version, and I'm not sure whether the undecorated is covered or not, so I'm not going to comment on the price. These are MSRPs, so if you shop around, you can find these for less. All you have to do is go to your local train store or your favorite online train store, and you'll find them for less. So your best bet would be to go to the Atlas website and find out what they have, because they have a whole bunch of these listed on the website. Different road names and road numbers and styles. Since we have two of these to look at, we'll look at this one in some depth, and then we'll kind of skim over the second one because they're very similar in terms of details and features. So looking at the CSX covered coil steel car, you can see that the paint job is near perfection. I don't see any gapping or anything like that, any problems with the paint. Most of this tiniest writing along the side here is legible with magnification. Some of it's not perfectly legible, but frankly, when you're looking at something at distance, most of this isn't visible anyway. So even these numbers like this aren't very visible when you're looking at distance. So I do want to mention a couple of things while we're looking at the side as well, which is the detail on this model is pretty fine. And I'm talking about this walk here. It looks like a photo etched piece. It is see-through, I can tell you that. And you'll see on the ends that they're also see-through in terms of the walkways. So overall, just immediately looking at this, I can say it's a very nicely detailed model. It almost doesn't even look like N-scale. Looking at the brake end, you can see this model has separately applied brake wheel detail, as well as this looks like separately applied detail on the side here. And you'll also notice that the grab is also separately applied. There's one on each side. I'm pointing out this one because you can see it's separately applied. This is really fine detail for N-scale. Something else I'm finding really cool is this is, in fact, a body-mounted knuckle coupler. So this car already has a lot going for it. We usually don't look at this angle of the end detail, but I wanted to show you the additional brake detail here. It looks like a chain that comes up from the brake wheel. That's pretty cool. We're going to look at all the sides of the car, so I figured I'd show you this one, and I purposely didn't mention it on the other side because I wanted to have something to talk about on this side. And what I'm going to talk about is this grab that goes all the way across the car. It looks like a separately applied part. Now, looking at the A end, I wanted to take this opportunity to give a slightly higher angle just so that you can see that this is, in fact, a see-through piece. And that goes for the walkway that goes down the side as well. You can see from this angle that the grab iron that goes across the entire lid to this car is separately applied. The lid to this car just lifts off. Once the lid is off, you can see that it has inside floor detailing. And I noticed when I took this lid off that it's pretty heavy. And the reason why is because there's actually a weight in there. And finally, looking at the bottom of this car, you can see it has what looks to be molded brake rigging or brake detail. And then something else that's really cool is it has metal wheels. And I mentioned before that these are, in fact, body-mounted knuckle couplers. All right, I've switched to the uncovered car now. And on this one, the brake detail shows up a little bit clearer. And you know, it almost looks like it's separately applied, but it also looks like it's molded. So you'll have to decide what you think about that when you get yours. But it looks good, whatever it is. And if you aren't worried about it because you'll never see the bottom of the car, well, that's legitimate too. But you can see the detail on this car is the same as it is on the other one in terms of metal wheels and that brake detail, whether it's separately applied or molded. This uncovered car also has the photo-etched walkways and the inside floor detail. Here's a brief look at the A end of this car. Taking a look at the side of the car, you can see that the writing on this one is also very well done. The brake end sports separately applied detail and see-through walkways, just like on the covered car. And finally, here's the other side of the car, and I'm going to take this opportunity to mention that this uncovered car doesn't have a lot of weight to it. So that's something you'll want to consider. You might want to add some loads to them or just run these as empties if you get a bunch of these uncovered ones. Because without the weight of the lid, well, they may not track as well with full cars. Anyway, something to be aware of. This is another very solid release from Atlas. I like the fact that there's a covered version and an uncovered version. A lot of times you'll see covered versions and releases won't include an uncovered option. So that's pretty cool. I like how they hid the weight for the covered one in the cover. That was a pretty clever way to do that. I'm a little concerned about the uncovered one being too light, but if you run those as a string or put them at the end of the train, like they would in real life, well, it'll work. So good job, Atlas. I'll see you next time.